Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob, bringing in the week with you guys and a nice Italian mustache accent.
Oh, the mustache you. Now, everybody remember, I am Italian, so this is okay.
Everyone thinks I'm Italian, so...
Hey, you know what? Honestly, I thought you were Italian too when I first met you many, many, many moons ago until I heard your last name, and then obviously, yeah, that's Irish.
My own cousin thought I was Italian. It's your wife.
Well, I guess the other side of the family, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, no, they're McBrides.
Yeah, well, you also were in The Sopranos. Maybe that's why it threw people for a loop. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but guys, we got a lot of news to go over here. We got a future Hall of Famer signing with the Washington Commanders yesterday. We got a little bit of more Giants news here as people are talking about things for the upcoming season here. But we're going to break right into with the big news that broke literally as we were actually recording yesterday. We did hear about it at the time. But Von Miller officially to the Washington Commanders. And the question is, should we care?
I mean, he took a few steps back a couple seasons ago, so should we care?
More than a couple seasons, and that's why we got to say that. I mean, his first career, there's no doubting what he is. You know, he is a bona fide Hall of Famer. He's a guy that probably will get in, if not first ballot, won't be waiting too long. That's for damn sure. He won't be the borderline guy, like that's not the situation we're looking at here. 129 and a half sacks for his career. Again, still going. 185 tackles for a loss. 8-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. But here's the thing. He's 36 years old, guys. He has not had double-digit sacks since 2019. That's how long it's been since he's been elite. I get it. He's a big name, and sometimes we get caught up on big names as if they're going to be like what they used to be. He had 6 sacks last season, guys. And in case you're wondering what that brings his total to in the last 2 years, it brings it to 6. Because yes, he had 0 the year before that. It's a steep drop from what he used to be. Last 2 seasons, he played in just over 30% of all defensive snaps. So he's not even an every down player. I've seen people posting on Twitter now, Jermaine Illuminor's assignment, week 1. No. Not just playing 30% of the snaps.
Assignment week 1 to watch him 25% of the time.
Yeah, again, we get caught up. And I got a ton of respect for what Von Miller did, especially in his time in Denver. He basically dragged what's left of the body of Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl and won him one.
Right by that.
This is what people always talk about the Mannings, and I always say, well, remember, Peyton Manning got dragged to that damn Super Bowl. This is the man who dragged him there. He was not even, he got benched for Brock Osweiler that season. That's how good he was. If you want to, and again, we always talk about sacks aren't everything. We get that part of it. If you give him a 17-game average, and I'm doing it that way here from 2011 to 2018. Now, this is back when they were playing 16, but I'm just trying to give you modern day equivalent since there was the extra game in there. He averaged 13.9 sacks per game. That's in 8 seasons, guys. That's legit.
Yeah.
That's insanity. That's basically, let's call it 14. Imagine for the better part of a decade averaging 14 sacks a season. This is why when I say he's not who he used to be, again, it's not trying to knock him. It's just trying to be legit on what he is compared to what he was. Guys, he had 98 sacks in those years.
I was going to say,
8 years, he had 98.
He was a stellar player for damn near a decade.
Stella!
But, like, think about it. Like, when you play, you broke down in 17 games, right?
Yeah.
17 weeks, 16 games. That's almost a sack every game. You could guarantee him on. That's like if you sign any player now, you're going to get damn near a sack every time he's out in every game. Sign me off. Like,
exactly.
Like, especially those numbers. Like, yes, like, did he sack every game? No, but he's right there disrupting the quarterback every time, every play, putting the pressure on.
Yeah.
Like, in the face. Even so much so, I named my defense, I named my fantasy football 1 year the Von Miller Lights.
Oh my gosh. But guys, he was 3 years he had in Buffalo, and had 14 sacks. Yeah, I'm not trying to take away what this man was. Let's recognize what he was. Let's appreciate what he was. But he's not what he was. He's averaging almost half what he was. And he's had injury issues, 13 games last year, 12 games the year before, 11 games before that. Had the 15, obviously, the 1 year when he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams and got a second ring there. Didn't play at all back in 2020. And I get why the Commanders want to do it. They've been revamping their pass rush. They've gotten rid of, a lot of people that were, Montez Sweats of the world and, those kind of guys. And Chase Young, I mean, all those kind of players are all gone. But what it boils down to it is, I think there's a team here in Washington that thinks they have a chance to do something special. And let's be honest, guys, they went to the NFC Championship game last year. That's pretty damn far. Let's be honest. If we were Giants fans in that boat, we'd be pumped.
100%.
And we're going to talk them down a little because it's Commander fans. But if we, as Giant fans, were in that exact boat, we'd be stoked this year. We're talking about how we improved and we're going to go to the Super Bowl this year. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. Especially when you're got a second-year quarterback and you're hoping he's going to be even better.
Yeah. Your freshman turned out to be a stud.
Yeah. But this was the weakness of the roster right now, is the pass rush. And that's why they're trying to get the guy they think they can help with that. But to me, they already had the guy, and it's Dan Quinn. Your defensive-minded head coach is supposed to be one of the best defensive coordinators of this generation. I won't say one of the best head coaches, even though that's the position he has here. But his time in Dallas was amazing, as much as we hate to say it, we're Giants fans. His time in Atlanta, they always had great defenses. The Legion of Boom in Seattle, obviously. This man has a pedigree of creating great defenses. You shouldn't have to worry about that. But, again, they're going to go out and get the guy they think is the best guy available. And maybe he mentors some young guys, too. That's definitely part of it,
I was about to say, I feel like it's kind of like, Dan Quinn's been around the block a few times. So it's like, maybe you bring him on, you hype up the fan base. You got this guy that's a proven player in the past. Not so much that he's going to be a proven player this year, but maybe he's the guy that steps up and helps mentor the room. Maybe he's the guy that maybe doesn't mentor the room, but his presence of being there or brings up that defense that much where they step up.
Yep.
Because sometimes you got that dude in the locker room where you're like, we got to play like that dude. And he doesn't have to go down there and say, like, hey, this is what you got to do. People just step up.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely get it from the perspective of you're getting a guy who, like we said, at least dragged Peyton into a Super Bowl, went to the Rams and helped them win a second one. He's a proven winner. That's definitely the case there. And I see Jay's comment here. It says, sort of would be like us getting JPP would be. No.
Yeah.
JPP has no ability to play in the NFL whatsoever at this point in his career, I think. Again, I hate to come across blunt and rude, but I just am what I am. But I do think that Von Miller can still play in the league. I just don't think he's nearly what he used to be. He's a pass rushing specialist, a veteran presence in the locker room, and that's what he is. His best value is that leadership, probably, honestly. It's a young team they have. Yeah, they got some people now like Deebo Samuel that was kind of like a headache at times for the 49ers as well. And he can definitely come in handy from that perspective. I saw some people getting all excited. Like, oh, just Jermaine Lillard's got to kind of try to cover this guy. No, that's not where he's going to be. He's going to have to bench most of the plays. He's going to come out obvious passing downs, and that's it. Now, is he going to be better than your average person you take out in that scenario? Sure, of course, because he's got that veteran ability. But he hasn't been the same guy since that ankle injury in 2019.
I was going to say 18 and 19 because he missed
that around there where he missed the whole year. He hasn't been the same guy. And I feel bad for the guy because he does seem like a really nice guy. And the run he was on was amazing. If he kept it going, he can go down as like one of the best defensive players to ever play the game. He was that good.
Yeah.
Now, instead, he'll still be bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer probably. But he's not going to be in that Mount Rushmore of pass rushers.
Sadly not.
Be close. But like I said, I just think
he's going to be the guy that's going to be talked about like when it's a Tuesday in the middle of May and you're sitting on a couch home from work and the NFL is going over the top 10 top 100 pass rushers and you get to the top 20 of all times. You're going to see that guy's name pretty high up there.
You know what? I feel like the biggest thing with him is going to be like, he should never have to buy a beer in Denver ever again kind of guy. Like, that's where he should be remembered because of what he did there.
Yeah.
And, LA, he was there for half a year. That's it. Let's be honest. LA fans are extremely fickle. So, yeah, like I said, he's amazing player. And, great career he's had. And this might be his last stop. So enjoy watching him while you can. But he's a I don't see like gone player, like where he shouldn't even be there. Like he's definitely not there, but he's definitely not quite. Well, what you're probably hoping for when you signed him at this point. He didn't live up to the contract in Buffalo, that's for sure.
No, like like I said, he's at that point in his career where it's he's on his way down.
Winding down. See, Jay says Rob never has to buy a beer at vacuum cleaner conventions.
Oh, you know it.
Oh, there he goes.
They get sucked down too.
All righty, guys. Let's get to the next segment here as we talk about the season hinging on just two players. Seems a bit odd, but that's what's being kind of insinuated here by Zachary Perales of CBS Sports. He wrote an article called 50 Under the Radar Players Who Could Help Shape the Regular Season. And two Giants did make that list. I just find it a little difficult to think that just two players will make or break this team here. But like I said, these are what they're saying. You got Darius Slayton, number one, who I do think, again, we've said this before on the show before, when they talk about, how great Jalen Hyatt looks and he's gained 20 pounds and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, well, what about Darius Slayton, who by all accounts has also looked very good and is a deep ball catch guy who now is a deep ball thrower. This guy should look a lot better than he's looked, especially last year when he wasn't getting the ball as much because of neighbors getting force-fed so much. But he said Slayton seemed to be a trade candidate every season, yet he just stayed in New York and stayed producing. Since Slayton entered the NFL in 2019, he's one of four players who have caught at least 200 passes on at least 15 yards per reception, alongside Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and Mike Williams. Not bad company. Now, on a new contract, he's paired with Russell Wilson, who loves to throws the deep ball. Expect another consistent Slayton season with his usual share of explosive plays. And I think people also got to remember that most of his explosive years that he had, so to speak, and I want to say explosive like lowercase E-X-P, because let's be honest, he hasn't had the quarterback to go with his abilities yet. But most of his better years, he still had the oopsies, whatsies, where'd the ball go kind of stuff. The issues not catching the ball. He's been a lot better about that the last two seasons. He's put the work in. and he's improved that a lot. So I'm kind of curious on that part too, because all of a sudden you give a guy like Slayton a quarterback who can throw to what he succeeds at. You go ahead and also now throw in the fact that he's going to be sitting there, and actually be able to catch the ball when it gets to him. And you're not going to be as concerned. Let me get wrong. Be honest, he'll never have great hands, but you're not going to be as concerned as he used to be when you used to see it just breadbasket and go right through his hands. Because we saw plenty of times when Daniel Jones used to have a good deep ball back in the day. So I think this, honestly, depending on what happens with this offense, this could end up being like his best season he has. Like, this could be this year where all of a sudden he gets like 2-3 catches a game and that's it. But they're both like 20+ yarders, or all three. It's not both.
Could be
like that kind of situation. And then all of a sudden, you're talking about a guy who's like 1,000-yard receiver. Now, am I have put money on that happening? No, but it's definitely a possibility. And at the very least, he should get back to what he used to do on a consistent basis of 700 yards after having his 500-yard season now. He's consistent. He's been great his whole career like that. Underrated. We've always said that. I feel like we've probably spoken highly of Darius Slayton more than any other Giant contact creator out there. We've been always pretty big on him.
Yeah. Always. I mean, yeah, you have to be like, and we called it out a couple years ago when we started the show. Like, when they able to resign, I'm like, hey, this is the only play that we've had that had over 7 yards consistently.
Yep.
Like
with Daniel Jones.
Yep, and we beat that drum.
Chase says Drew taking hallucinogens for the pod. Just wait for that. Wait for that sound.
Yeah.
Wait for that sound. Russell Wilson and Darius Slayton. The second player, Deonte Banks, a 2023 first-round pick. Banks followed up a strong debut with a disappointing second year. The numbers bear it out. He had a 90.6 passer rating, 8.6 yards per attempt as the primary defender in 2024 after 67.5 and 6.9 respectively in 2023. The Giants have a fearsome pass rush and newcomers Javon Holland at safety and Paulson Adebo at cornerback, but Banks improving might be the key to tie it all together. Yeah, I'm not counting on that, guys. As much faith as I have in Slayton, I have that much in the opposite of lack of faith in Deonte Banks. I don't trust it.
Yeah. I mean, he's also been like, he was thrown into a tough spot last year as a sophomore.
He was.
And it wasn't fair to him. He was thrown into a tough spot to begin with his freshman year and kind of kept it afloat, but didn't look great.
Yeah.
And then with the schedule last year, with the amount of top-rate receivers that he had to cover, he crumbled. We did not do him any justice. If anything, we DJ'd him thus far. We did not give him we didn't give him the chance to excel.
We do that on such a regular basis. It's so sad, but you're 100% right. I mean, he didn't look good his first year against top flight receivers. And then we automatically made him a CB1 with no basically, person in there to go ahead and compete. And the Giants had to know somewhat at the very least, because the Giants went ahead and, tried everything they could to get another corner in there. They eventually got Adoree Jackson in there just to have another body in it. Like, they knew what they were doing to this kid, and they still did it. They tried to draft a corner in the second round. And what happened? They didn't get him. They got, Drew Phillips later on the third, but he's a slot receiver on an outside. Like, they did everything they could except for actually do it.
Yeah.
Like, they put him in a bad spot, point blank. And I still say, looking back on it, and obviously that's hindsight 2020, obviously, but looking back on it, they should have done something like, they had to go get a Stephon Gilmore, who we didn't necessarily want to get. Just somebody to stop this kid from having to be CB1 when he clearly wasn't ready. And then you put him out there, he's like the bane of, upsetting all the Giants fans week in, week out. And then eventually he had a meltdown. And we stopped even trying. And I got to imagine there was something behind the scenes with Jerome Henderson, too, because he's not there anymore. They got fired the secondary coach, who was a damn good coach, as soon as the season was over.
Yeah. It was like something was happening behind the scenes, like you said, that we had no idea about.
Be nice to know. But we
so
probably never will.
If you're listening, come on board.
Yeah. Come on the show, Jerome.
Yeah.
He would never, but still. It'd be fun if he did.
You're not part of the Giants organization. You can talk all the trash you want on the show.
You can. We want the dirt. No one can stop you now. Yeah. Not for contractual reasons, that's the least. Probably won't be the best look if you go for the job in the NFL. I assume he already has one, even. I mean, like I said, he's a really well-known guy. He's been in the league for quite some years now. Let's see here. He is a snippet on Wikipedia, cut it right off. Let's see here. Coaching career, where'd he go? He's actually the Colts defensive backs coach now. So him and DJ are hanging out in Indianapolis together.
Definitely good luck.
Yeah, not good when you're taking the leftovers of the Giants. Just saying, not good. But what do you think? I mean, am I crazy for thinking that they're a little insane for making it seem like these are the ones that would help shape the regular season? Like, do you think Slayton and Banks actually would go ahead and be the deciding factor whether or not this season's good or not?
Deciding if they were solo by themselves, absolutely not. You're crazy. That's crazy talk. But if you're talking about Slayton may be that perfect role as that Robin to Malik Neighbors, and make a big difference that way. I do believe that he's consistently shown that he could be a pretty good receiver when asked to be the number one, when he's clearly not number one with terrible quarterback play. Yeah, he's a number two.
Yeah.
And now he's number two to Malik Neighbors, who's going to be playing better. Who's a legit number one with a prior legit number one quarterback.
Yeah.
That's going to be throwing the ball. So I think he could make a difference because he may he may be close to 1,000 yards and 770 this year just because of that. But when you talk about Banks,
just that you get rid of Banks and let's say he stinks. You got to put Flott in there. Is there that much of a difference between Flott and Banks?
I mean, I'm pretty sure there was.
There was 2 years ago. Last year, I can't say that.
I mean, I don't think Banks is. I think Banks is going to be switching his role. He's not going to be covering the number ones consistently.
Oh, no, he's definitely not. Paulson Adebo is going to be doing that. That's why you're paying the big money. But what I'm just saying is I don't think Banks failing is going to kill this defense. I think you put Flott in there at that point or somebody else, and all of a sudden it's pretty much the same as it would have been because I just don't have that much faith.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to Banks, I don't agree. With Slayton, is it a make or break? I think he's definitely a solid asset.
Yes.
So because you will have to respect Slayton being out there, even though Malik's out there. Because if you're putting all that coverage on, Malik, because he's the clear number one, you're going to leave the clear number two wide open, and because of that, usually that number two feasts to have that nice big.
But I feel if Slayton, let's say Slayton isn't Slayton gets injured or whatever, and is gone. I feel like when you still have Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, and I think Theo Johnson's going to have, I wouldn't say a breakout season, but he's going to have a decent season. I think those three is enough of a weapon, especially when you throw in the pass-catching duo of Tracy and Scadaboo. And maybe a little Hyatt. I don't know. I don't want to put any egg in that basket whatsoever, but let's say maybe Hyatt. Then that's still not a bad group. I don't think he makes or breaks it. If you want to go people 50 under the radar players, okay, I get it. They're under the radar. But I feel like you're just making an article just to say, hey, this is people that people may not be thinking about. And that's what it boils down to.
I mean, yes, there's 100% a little bit on there. But Slayton might give you enough edge to win a couple games where you may have not prior. So that to me would be making, being the make player.
Yeah, he's definitely the more important of the two. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I just can't think. I can't say either one of them are the ones who are going to probably help shape the regular season. There's a reason people are calling them under the radar, because they're not talked about as much, because they're probably not going to be over the radar. Like, if we win, let's say hypothetically something crazy happens, that we go at winning a record, look at playoffs, that kind of stuff. It's probably not going to be because of Slayton or Banks. It's probably going to be because of Neighbors. It's probably going to be because of Burns. It's probably going to be because of Carter or Dexter Lawrence or or Russell Wilson playing better than expected. Or that's what's going to do it. The over the radar people, not the under the radar people.
I get it. So, but the only reason why I give a little pushback with Slayton is that if he turns around and has 850 yards this year, right, puts up an extra 150 yards, and then he's his best prior or 100 yards. That's going to be because everyone's double covering Neighbors, right?
Yep.
So who's our clear number one? So he gets a couple extra yards. He may get the winning touchdown because of that. Like, they're going to have to respect that, which then in turn will help Neighbors get more open, which will ultimately give us more passing yards, which ultimately give us more rushing yards. So, like, I think he's an important piece. Like, is he going to well? That's like
to make or break the shape season, though. That's the one thing. They say under the radar players who would help shape the regular season. I don't think Slayton is helping to shape the regular season.
I think it's fair.
So, all right. Let's pay the bills real quick, guys. We'll be right back then. Got a couple more segments to talk about stuff here with you guys.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the Goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys, let's get back into the Giants news here. Let's talk a little about Bobby Okereke here.
Bobby
seems to be a little bit of a strange energy. That's according to Dan Duggan of The Athletic. He wrote, "There's been an odd vibe around Okereke this offseason, beginning with reports that he'd fallen out of favor with some of the organization and continuing with his unexplained disappearance from practices this spring. Okereke was brimming with optimism when he spoke to reporters after the team's first OTA practice, but then he wasn't in attendance at any of the next 4 open practices of the spring. Coach Brian Dable doesn't provide injury updates during the spring, so it's not clear if Bobby Okereke suffered a setback with the back injury that sidelined him for the final 5 games of the last season. There are some parallels to linebacker Blake Martinez's unexpected release before the 2022 season, but the main difference is Okereke was brought in by this regime. There would be no financial benefit to cutting Okereke, and he's still superior to the alternatives on the roster despite a down 2024 season. When the dust settles, the Giants need Okereke to return to the disruptive form he displayed in 2023. Yeah, I mean, I don't like that comparison. Blake Martinez? Like, seeing him retire and sell Pokemon cards?
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
Well, as long as it doesn't get banned from the trading sites like Blake Martinez did. I mean, Blake Martinez was that guy who got injured and wasn't the same. Like, there's a difference here. And I don't think, obviously, again, we don't know. As they mentioned, we don't know what's happening fully with Bobby Okereke. But Blake Martinez was coming off an ACL injury that year. he went to go come back and just wasn't the same player and said, "Screw it, I'm done then." Like that's what it was. Let's cut to the BS and call it like it is. He goes to play for the Giants and gets hurt on the field, as many Giants have gotten. And next thing you know, just comes back not the same. I mean, he finally did come back, remember, from playing the Pokemon card thing, because he got banned from those sites that were doing the trading because of some kind of. I don't understand it still, to be very frank, but
he wasn't selling like official cards or something.
I thought it was like he wasn't like opening them live in a way that was legit and people would actually get legit stuff. I don't know. Whatever. But I don't understand Pokemon. Anybody can feel free to pop in the comments that actually understands Pokemon cards. But yeah, then he signed to the practice squad of the Raiders the following season there, later on after retiring. It's just not there. I mean, it was on the practice squad in 23 with the Panthers and the Steelers. I don't think that's what's going on with Okereke. Like, I hope not.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, that'd be insane. And Jay says, "Yeah, the only one here, no Pokemon." Stop. You're not the only one here, Jay. You're the only one commenting. Everybody makes me and Jay feel less lonely.
Jay, we had one other comment that got sidetracked a little bit at the way beginning. Cheers, fellas. From Jay. Another Jay.
But yeah, different Jay. But yeah, see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's what's going. I'm really hoping that's not what's going on. Like, we talked about linebacker being like the low key spot that people aren't talking about enough as a potential issue. Yeah, and that's the truth. Like, if you lose Okereke, like, ooh. Now you got Abdul Carter, who you really don't want to put there all the time. You want to move him around. You got Mike and McFadden, who is a good run stopper, but you don't really necessarily want him on passing downs there specifically if you can avoid it. And then you got Darius Muasau, you want to count as 6th rounder from last year?
Yeah, not really. I mean, Okereke, like, when healthy, was a stud for us 2 years ago.
Yeah. And what I'm hoping, and this is going to sound bad, but I'm going to say it because I hope people realize, as a Giant fan, I don't mean it in a bad way. But my hope is that he's just still dealing with the injury. And it's just, hey, let's not go crazy here. Let's take it easy.
That's what I'm hoping.
It'd be smart to do that. Like, you don't want to go crazy. And like, same with Andrew Thomas, sit on the sidelines and everything, like, you don't want to go crazy and have guys get injured potentially. So hopefully that's all it is. But when I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's kind of interesting as far as we need to kind of keep an eye on that and see, is he going to be available to the media later on? Is he someone you're to see later on when you see people at, the training camps and stuff like that? Does the media get access to him to ask what was going on? Like, there's questions to be asked now.
And 100%. That's fair to ask. Like, where was he? But at the same time, like, if you're still not 100%, like, let's not waste it, because Okereke could play the game. So
yeah,
let's not push him back into a situation where he's not comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, guys, let's talk a little about Antrell Roll again. We talked about him a little yesterday, but there's one aspect of his interview we had with Gambling Industry News that we didn't get a chance to talk about there, because it's a little bit of a homer article they had there. He's basically rooting for every single Giant, ex-Giant, and everything he could, basically. But let's talk about Eli. It says put him in the Hall. Rooting for that guy to go in the Hall. And obviously he's 100% right. But he said, do I think he will get in? Yes, I do. I think he deserves to get in. And it's not just because of the name or because he played New York. You're talking about someone who had a very good NFL career. Postseason, we know what he did. 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. And the guy who he beat in both Super Bowls. And of course, that's Mr. Thomas Brady there. Guys, I don't think I probably have to convince many people here that are going to listen to this show, because we're all Giants fans here for the most part. But for those stragglers we get that occasionally that are popping in from other teams there, if you don't think Eli is a Hall of Famer, point blank, for just what he did in the postseason, you're crazy. I'm sorry. Like, you take away everything he did in the preseason, he's top 10 in every single major statistical category of quarterbacks all time. And I get it. Passing is much different than it used to be. I get that. He used to be the lead the league with 2,000 yards back in the 50s, probably. But, this.
Yeah. Well, they also ran.
It is what it is.
1,000 yards, and that was the game.
Yeah, but he literally owns the record for most passing yards in a single postseason still years later.
Yeah.
Beat the greatest player supposedly of all time in Tom Brady, which I'll agree to that, but I'll say, it's always that topic, but I think he is the greatest of all time. Goes ahead and gets a team, quite frankly, that wasn't the greatest teams. Because both times you can't sit there and say the Giants were powerhouses. And he got them there and he won against teams that flat out were powerhouses. That alone makes him worthwhile getting in. Then you throw the fact that he was literally the face of one of the biggest franchises in the NFL. And again, did all he did in the regular season as far as top 10 passing yards, top 10 touchdowns. I get it. The record wasn't the greatest. Who Italy retired at 500. But there's the guys like Joe Namath who've gotten in with an under 500 record. That shouldn't stop it. Yeah. He wasn't the GM. He wasn't the coach. He wasn't doing all the things that he needed he needed to do to win, apparently. Because apparently he needed to go ahead and draft players, too. The Giants sucked for drafting how many years around him?
Oh, they were terrible for so long.
Was his dad a crappy quarterback, too?
Does it run in the family?
I'm just saying, we can't all have been, blessed to have a great quarterback and a great team around the quarterback. Unfortunately, Eli didn't get that.
No, not in the least.
So look at the lines he had to deal with. Look at the receivers he had to deal with. And I say that with knowing that I love some of the receivers he played with. I enjoyed Hakeem Nicks back in the day, Plexico Burress, Monty Toomer, obviously, OBJ. But if you really want to get legit about it, OBJ in his prime was the only elite wide receiver that he had. You want to see Victor Cruz for the 1 year? Okay, he had 1,500 yards in 1 year, and basically that was half his career total. Call him like it is. So he should be in the Hall of Fame. Point blank should be in the Hall of Fame. He should have already been in the Hall of Fame this year. It's an absolute ridiculous thing that he's not.
Yeah, definitely. He should. Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
they did him dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. One more segment we got here for you guys. We got to talk about the Giants' greatest offseason move. Because there's an article PFF had on this, and quite frankly, I don't agree with it, but we're going to go over what they said here. PFF said, lost in the shuffle of the Giants' quarterback controversy and drafting of third overall pick Abdul Carter is the fact that they significantly improved their secondary in free agency. New York's coverage unit was left wounded after Xavier McKinney's departure last season. They remedied that by signing ex-Dolphin Javon Holland, who is tied for 5th in the NFL in PFF coverage grade since 2021. The Giants also acquired veteran quarterback Paulson Adebo, who earned a 80.5 PFF coverage grade in 2023. With these additions, as well as their outstanding defensive line, the Giants defense carries a ton of potential into 2025. So that's what they said. They said it was our best offseason move, was the free agency moves we made in the secondary. And I got to say, I don't think that's the truth at all. Would you call, I'll let you do this, and I'm still in the thunder in case you agree with me, Rob. What would you call our greatest off-season move we did?
I mean, I don't know. I would have to, off-season move, we're probably getting 2 quarterbacks.
Yes! Thank you. I'm going to say 3, but...
Yeah. Sorry, 3.
I don't know which one you weren't including, but I'm including all 3.
You're right, all 3. I wasn't including the draft, even though I should have. But yeah. Going out, improving that quarterback room, the most important position in the NFL, the one that gets all the heat.
Yep.
You sat there and you gave that team diversity. You gave them the best option in your third string quarterback that you had over the year prior, and then you improved it by getting a second string quarterback. And then you go ahead and improved it by getting the first string. Like, just
the most important position in the entire field, like potentially the most important position of all professional sports, at least American professional sports. I won't go into the cricket positions and all, none of those things. But, we literally revamped that entire room in one off season. Now, is it great? No. And that's why you can sit there and argue whether it's the most important. The biggest move they made, the best move they made all season. But I got to give it to that. But I'll say this. The D line to me is number 2, because we literally turned what was a strength of ours already into where we're literally being talked about having the best room in all of football there. That's where we're at there. I mean, you're literally talking about a defensive line now overall. And again, I'm using the term the way most people do. I don't like typically including edge rushers as defensive line. To me, they're linebackers. But if you want to include D line as part with edge rushers there, then yeah, that D line was point blank it. You added Chauncey Golston in free agency. You draft Abdul Carter, who is potentially the best, talent in this entire draft. You go ahead and draft Darius Alexander, who is potential to be a real steal in the 3rd round there. And then you throw in a whole bunch of veteran defensive tackles you got. Like, point blank, this is the strongest position group on this entire team. Because I can't say we had a strength for years. We have a strength.
Yeah, without a doubt.
This is the first time in a while. And that's why, but I said I got to give it number 2, though, because of how important the quarterback position is. That's what it is. This is the most important position in all of football, the quarterback position. So I'm going to give the secondary, the moves in the secondary, I like them, don't get me wrong, but they do come with risk as well. I'll give that position number 3 of our list of things we did.
Yeah. By far, you have to go quarterback room. Most important position in the NFL. Like, we already beat the drum on. You have to improve the line, and it's only going to make the players on offensive we already have make them look that much better, which turns the depth offensive we had last year into hopefully an average, closer to above average, but an average offense.
I just love the fact there's actually a conversation this year on what's the best move we made. You know what I mean? Like, that's nice that there's a conversation. That means there's several moves being made.
Yeah. And, not just oh my God, you got this player. Like, is your defensive line going to go rank 27 to 24?
Yeah, will you lead the NFL in sacks? I get it.
Yeah.
These are all things. And like I said, I'm liking that there's some positivity at least. We just got to hope the quarterback room's good enough. And we don't know that, and I see AJ there say that's why dudes like Brian Burns can't get 10 sacks. His team never has to lead. He needs offense. No, the reason Brian Burns, quite frankly, can't get 10 sacks is because he's not a guy that consistently gets sacks like that. He's not. He's a guy who's a really good pass rusher and a really good run stopper. He's not an elite pass rusher.
He's also never had a team in Carolina that he could count on to just be a Robin. Like, they were just there. It was like going against the practice dummies.
Might as well triple team him, basically. There's nobody else you had to worry about.
Yeah, pretty much. So now
it'd be hard to double team anybody this time. Oof.
That's it. So there's going to be it's either going to be feast or famine. Because there's going to be a lot of players out there getting them a lot. Hopefully a lot of sacks, a lot of under pressures and a lot of disruptions.
Exactly. So, all righty, guys. Well, that's going to call it a night for us here. We'll be back again for you Monday night, as usual, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, we are live on YouTube, the preferred platform. We're live on Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well. Guys, have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend there. I know it's summer, so I'm hoping you all got some fun planned at that point. Hopefully it's not a monsoon in Jersey still. So the news articles and all the flowing rivers and all that was not cool. So, but guys, like I said, have a safe one. We'll see you guys Monday. Appreciate you guys for watching as always. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.